See you on that.
Okay, here on concerned citizens, it has all the, 5. And none of them,
Yeah.
that one looks so much better than any of these.
No, none of them are gonna knock your socks off. Is what it is.
Can I put none of the
That's the one my
above
wife voted for.
this one?
No, the next one, or the capital on the front.
Oh, yeah, that's the only one that's got,
A little something in it.
Yep.
I've been around the world so much.
this one looks so much better.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
It's got the Indian on the top of the State House, the sunflowers, the bisons, the mountains.
Yep.
Yeah. See that?
I'm waiting now.
Online? It was online. Email, he emailed it to us.
Must be today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
Or,
open that the other day.
or it might have been on there Friday. I can't remember. I just remember
I
seeing
seen
it.
this on Friday.
Yeah.
This I did not.
It's supposed to look.
Well, I won a trailer model with the rotary motor.
Did you?
What movie is that, right?
Probably about a tail road.
No. Not sure what I'm gonna do with it though. I don't have a tractor to pull it with.
I'll find it.
Got one great nephew.
Thought it's closer than it was before, so.
Yeah. And now it's, and now
Only a
it's,
minute off.
no, it's not. No, it's a few seconds off.
Got it fixed.
Pretty close.
It's closer than what it was anyway.
Yeah.
When you watch it, especially, it takes forever. There it goes.
Just need to work.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Fry,
Yes.
Keating,
Present.
Stelling,
Present.
Bikeman,
Present.
Garaki,
Present.
Price, Aaron's,
Here.
Wrong,
Here.
7.
Okay. First up, we have the, working? Okay. First up, we have the approval of minutes from the meeting on November 27th.
Move approved minutes regular meeting, November 27th, 2023 is written.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion, changes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next up, we have the special meeting on November 28th.
Move approved special meeting, November 28th, 2023 is written.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7.
I will.
The election results, November 16th, 2023, from Marshall County Clerk Sandra K. Wilson. I, Sandra K. Wilson, Marshall County Clerk Election Officer, do hereby certify the following persons were elected in the 2023 City School General Election. Mayor Todd Fry, Treasurer Kenneth L. Kiekefer, Council Ward 1 Christopher Schrader, Council Ward 2 Keith Beichman, Council Ward 3 Kevin Throm, Council Ward 4 Cherie Louise Ferris. So, do you want to pass out the,
No, I didn't know.
please?
Yeah,
I
you
can
get to do
absolutely.
You get to do that.
All right, in appreciation, in recognition of outstanding service to the community as Councilman Ward 3 from 2018 to 2019, and as Mayor from 2020 to 2023, we present you with this plaque. Thank you, Jason, for all your service to the community in both roles, and hopefully you'll still be willing to serve in other capacities.
Probably.
So you've gained a lot of experience, no doubt.
I have. All right.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have one for Parker Bryce as well, but he was unable to join us tonight, so.
Okay. So now if the two new councilmen will come forward, I'll swear them in, please. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and that I will faithfully perform
and that I will faithfully perform
the duties of council member
the duties of council member
of the city of Marysville, Kansas.
of the city of Marysville, Kansas.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Now, we're going to reset you. Do you want to do the honors or do you want me?
Oh, you can do it.
Okay, so on that end will be Lori Snellings. And if you pick up the signs, they'll say who you are now. And
Do I have to go to the bathroom?
and where Jeff is, Cherie, you will sit. Khalid, you will sit beside her. And then Jeff, yeah, you're gonna be there. Okay, beside me is Keith. And beside Keith is Kevin. Get in. And then Chris and Kyle, you're on the end. Chris is here. I'll just put Marcus paperwork there. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Deb discovered that. I didn't
Really?
think about it. Deb said, did you see that? Put all the names together. New chairs too. Because first she asked me if Chris was spelled with a K
See
or
your
a C.
game, yeah.
One for everybody.
Now we will call roll again. Snellings,
Present.
Ferris,
Present.
Behrens,
Here.
Keating,
Present.
Beichman,
Present.
Fromm, here, Schrader,
Present.
Gueracki.
Present.
8-0.
All right, thank you very much. So first things first, I guess we need to elect a new council president since we have a new council seated. Does anyone like to make a nomination for council president? Council president runs the meetings.
I feel like
if
I'll
I'm gone.
nominate Kevin. We'll just keep him in that role for a while longer.
Second.
Nominate Jeff King.
So we've got, okay, got moved. We've got, well, we got Kevin's nominated and Jeff's nominated. I don't know, you don't need a second. You need a second if there's any seconds for Jeff's nomination.
I'll second it.
Okay. Are there any further nominations? Okay. So seeing no further nominations, we can move with the vote. All those in favor of Kevin in the role of council president, raise your right hand. 3. All in favor of Jeff as council president, raise your right hand. 4. The council president will be Jeff. Okay. All right, moving forward, public comments. Is anybody here for public comment that's not on the agenda? Okay. Wayne Cruzy with the Chamber Main Street report.
Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to be with you this evening to talk through some things that are going in the Chamber and Main Street office, which is also the Office of Convention and Tourism. Our Christmas festivities have kicked off with grand style. I want to plant a seed just because several people have approached me. It seems that people really enjoy having the Christmas tree in the Pony Plaza, and so several people have said, would we consider planting a tree there? So as we're thinking about how things operate in that part of town, it's something for us to consider and think about. Brenda Spencer is continuing to work on in creating the historic district in downtown Marysville. She will be back in town on Thursday, December 21st. A couple of business people have asked to have a one-on-one meeting with her. If any of you have some questions that you'd like to have clarified or want to get some more information from her, just let me know and I can schedule an appointment with her. We are still working on that downtown speaker system, and thanks to Kevin Throm, he came back from a conference saying we should reconsider installing a wireless system. So upon further consultation, we are not going to install a wireless system. We're going to have a wired system. Brian Hopp will be here this Thursday at 11. So if any of you want to hang out with us, we'll start at my office. Cindy, that's why I called Will. I thought it would be nice to have Will with us on Thursday when Brian comes and checks out the system. So hopefully we'll be able to get that installed soon, just so you know what's going on there. On Friday, I got to spend some time with Julie Mulvihill. Julie is the executive director for Humanities Kansas. We spent some time in Atchison, and we went to the new Amelia Earhart Hangar Museum, which is a great museum. It's really kid-friendly. The interesting thing about the Amelia Earhart Hangar Museum is that there are no actual artifacts of Amelia Earhart. Like they say they have this plane that is like the one that Amelia Earhart flew. There's not even a letter or a piece of clothing or anything of hers in this amazing museum. And it got me to thinking, though, when you think about our 3 museums here in Marysville, they are so filled with so much of our history. They tell that Pony Express story. They tell that story of the Kester family. Or when you go into the historic courthouse, we have so many artifacts that tell our area's story. So as we keep working on our museums, and as I think about that Boot Hill Museum or the Amelia Earhart Hangar Museum, last week, Caitlin Carson, who's with the Oz Museum, was here in Wamego, and she said they get 40,000 visitors every year to the Oz Museum in Wamego, Kansas. And Julie's going to come, Julie Mulvihill will come and meet with our museum in January, so we can develop this plan of how are we going to make sure we're attracting more visitors to our museums. And we certainly have a lot of potential. We have 3 great museums. One of the things that I've noticed as I've traveled to other museums, the way they use technology is very impressive. And so that might be an area that we could use to upgrade some of our museums. And then as we think about, looking at those numbers of people that are staying in our hotels, in my mind, anything we can do to strengthen our local assets, being our museums, hopefully that can increase those overnight stays as well. When I think about that Oz Museum getting 40,000 people, I just think, we can do that as well. Another theme that has come up in these conversations is the role that billboards play. And so I've kind of personally poo-pooed billboards, but maybe we'll look at those a little bit differently to see, especially the Oz Museum. They talked really specifically about how that's driving their tourism. And a similar comment came up from Holly, who's in Lindsborg. And she talked about some interesting partnerships that Lindsborg did with Wichita. So you had those two cities going together to buy some billboards in some high-traffic places and share that cost. So that might be something that we want to consider as well. I did ask Cindy if the Pony Plaza or the Pony Park has ever officially been named.
I haven't had time
Yeah,
to
this has
research
not
it
been a
because
top,
it's not been a good.
it's not been a top issue, but I feel like we need to figure out if that area does not have an actual name. We refer to it often as Pony Park or Pony Plaza. I would ask the council, let's officially name it so that we can be really consistent in what is that area called. So once Cindy finds that out, if it doesn't have a name, I'll probably be back to say, hey, let's say we're going to call it this or that. We're making progress in working with our friends at the school district, the Marysville Public Schools, as we work on that workforce development and strengthening our workforce. We've had several meetings, and they continue, where we're talking about mentorship programs, getting kids in our schools to see all the different, getting the kids in our businesses to see all of the different possibilities that we have here in town, as well as going down to the elementary school, working with those sixth graders to start at that age so that they can start to see how the town operates and all the different options that we have in the town. And as we've been having that conversation, remember the last time I was here, we talked about that word art, where, you know, half of the kids think Marysville's fun, half of them think it's boring. Since then, several people have reached out, including a realtor. And she feels she has a building for sale that maybe could be a rec center, like a kids rec center. So we're talking to her to see if there are ways that we can work with her to find someone that could do that. Along the same lines, I feel we've stepped up some of our economic development efforts, looking at that where Hardee's used to be, to figure out what might be the next restaurant, fast food restaurant that could go there. We're broadening our search to help them sell that land so it doesn't sit there empty. And then we're starting to look at what are other restaurants that we might bring to town. I think we would all agree that although we have great local restaurants, we probably could use one more. So we're looking into that as well.
You got some names already?
We don't have names already, no. We're just casting out that net, making some connections. I just remember when Bernie was the mayor years ago and how he got Las Cabanas to come there. So we're starting some conversations and throwing out that net to say, hey, look, here's what we have in our town, here's what we'd like to have, who's interested and how can we help?
From talking to different employees in town, everybody's favoring Arby's for some reason. I mean, that's just...
Yeah. Well, comments like that are important. I mean, I think about what Kevin has said about, even if it's a sound system, you know, if you ever have ideas or suggestions, just throw them my way and we will reach out. I was working more on the Runza angle because people were interested in Runza, and I have family in Nebraska who owns that franchise, so they're part of a franchise, so they're trying to help us make some connections there. And I see our financial requests come later in the meeting, so unless you have other questions. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Wayne, one thing.
Yes.
If any of the council members, current or new, haven't signed up for the Chamber Main Street newsletter, comes out on Monday mornings. It's a fantastic way to kind of see what everything's going on in the community.
Yeah.
How do people go about signing up for that newsletter?
You all should get it, except I haven't added Chris and Cherie.
I already have it because I'm a member.
Oh, because that's right, you are a member. Kevin, I'm glad you brought that up. I hope you picked up, I really have been thinking about your parking. You bring up the issue of parking in downtown Marysville, and so do our business owners. So we've been working on that Be a Good Neighbor campaign. I thought that the statistic from, I forgot what the organization was, but how one parking space brings in $20,000 into revenue in our local economy annually. That does underscore the important role that each of those parking places play in our town. So yes, I will make sure Cherie gets signed up.
Great resource.
The rest of you get it, right?
Yep.
Well, thank you, Todd. All right, thanks.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Wayne.
Wayne.
Thank you.
Can we decide on a name for the Pony Express Writer statue now? Or?
I gotta research it in the minutes to see
Yeah,
if it's
let's see
already been
if
named.
it's already been
I just haven't.
officially or unofficially named.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just haven't had time.
At least you only have to go back about, what, 18 years maybe? So, You don't have to look at anything from the 1800s.
No, you're right.
I was thinking it got the name Pony Express.
The Pony Plaza. I think, I'm not sure. I
Yeah.
just can't remember if it was official or.
Yeah, it would be good to have an actual name for it though, so guess we'll figure that out down the line. All right, under business and discussion items, the Nordis storm sewer project scope and cost projection. I know there's been some information that went out in the email about that project and kind of what we've discovered, I guess. Would you like to speak to that a little bit, Jeff?
Well, my understanding is there's been an awareness of an issue there for quite some time, and the council has at least begun some kind of a process to determine what the scope of the problem is and what the fix might be. And that's occurring at the same time that other projects are under consideration, which impacts the financing part of everything. So we're trying to kind of pull as much together as we can to assist the council making decisions on funding projects. So with respect to the Nordis stormwater issue, there were a couple of broad concept notions brought before the council. Rob had not addressed you yet at that point, and they were not accompanied by cost estimates. So we got together with Rob, and what we asked him to do was to really study that a little bit more and come up with perhaps one good concept proposal for addressing that area, and then prepare a cost estimate, which he and his firm have graciously done and are prepared to present you with tonight. So that's where we are on that. In the meantime, I think everybody's aware that city crews have attempted to dig and locate the collapse in the storm sewer system next to the old motel, but that's proving to be a pretty precarious project. And for now, we've set that aside, or any further work on that, pending this presentation tonight, and possibly considering that if we go any further with that investigation about repairing the storm sewer that's in place, that we may need to seek some help for that from a contractor. So with that, I think Rob's prepared to make a presentation.
Rob, would you like to come forward and?
Thanks, Jeff. So I think everybody has that exhibit in their and just I want to prelude it with it's very conceptual at this point. This was kind of the direction we were given early on from previous administration to, as you can see, there's existing storm sewer underneath the Nordis building. So the idea was we'd try to reroute that, and that's what the green line is showing. I will say that there's, at the north end of that, up north towards which would be just southwest of the Knights of Columbus building, there is still some uncertainty as to how that existing storm sewer, how it's run and actually where it goes. Quite honestly, from the alley there, just right there north of Nordis's, it's still, probably the best would be to get a camera or something down in there to where we know exactly where. Our field crews have been out there a couple different times trying to figure out where, and some of the mapping that we were able to get a hold of just contradicted each other. It just wasn't coming together very well. So that's the only thing that I might add to that. But in talking with Jeff over the last couple of weeks, we at least wanted to give you guys some data to try to start to make some decisions. And obviously the first one would be cost. And so we tried to pull something together that would help you guys kind of get an idea what a project of this nature might. There's a lot of pavement is kind of the unfortunate part, is a lot of concrete that's going to have to be demoed and replaced, that sort of thing. So,
I think there's a lot of rock in that, Rob.
No way to know yet. I know if you go up the alley to the west of Nordis's right there.
I knew that.
It's pretty rocky there. Yeah. And from what I've been told is that it used to be kind of a creek channel that ran through there, is maybe why some of that runs at an angle the way it does. That's just some parole evidence that we've gotten from some of the older people in town, and some of the maps kind of match that. I think the city had some GIS mapping done here in the last 3 to 4 years maybe, There's two different versions of that, so I think there's really just some uncertainty as we go. But, you know, it's nothing that can't be figured out at some point. It just to this point hasn't been yet, so. What we did is we tried to put together something that we felt was gonna catch a lot of that, but our recommendation would be there need to be a little bit more studying done, just to know where, 'cause it almost looks like, from what we can tell, some of the storm surge goes north and then comes back south, and then it was kind of almost like it was pieced together through the years, so.
How big is what's in there?
Well, the best we can tell on some of there's some 24-inch, but then, you know, they're west of the southwest corner of Nordis is 18-inch, which would make sense, but, yeah.
Why not just make it all 24? Or,
They're going to.
Well, probably will, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll run calcs on all that to make sure that 24 is even big enough, but, yeah. But this is where we started, just to get you guys something that would give you an idea of cost and that sort of thing, so.
So this preliminary project cost, given that there's some concern over possible how'd you put it, broader area of study being required, how confident are you in that project cost?
Well, for what we have laid out here.
Reasonably confident?
Oh, yeah.
So no unforeseen surprises or?
Well,
They
I don't
get
know
rock.
that yet.
Well,
You hit rock, you're gonna run the price up too, so.
Yeah. And the other thing is, as you guys have witnessed over the last couple of years, that the prices of things are just going up, so, you know, maybe we'll hit some relief at some point with that, with construction costs, but.
I think part of the underlying concern for a lot of the council, at least I can speak for myself, is that this is a safety issue, less of a convenience issue and more of a safety issue with the water situation in the area right now.
Yeah.
So, and like you said, costs are gonna go up. If we delay, it's not gonna be cheaper 2 years, and it's just gonna be a continued liability, but.
Yeah, and I guess the thing I want to mention too is, you know, when I sat around that table about 10 or 12 years ago, so I know the last thing you really want to hear is just another study be done, but, I mean, that's where we'd want to help you first, is just first grow our awareness before we jump to action and that sort of thing, so. You know, obviously we'd want to help you know what that would even look like, so.
That line, Rob, when it comes out onto Broadway there and goes over and then on down, does that eventually dump into the 14th Street one or not?
Well, we think so. We believe so.
Or does it go back across country and catch underneath that little brick house there or stone house on the corner of,
I don't know.
13th and
I don't know,
Elm
Kevin.
over
We
there.
we tried to chase that one day, and we'd pop manholes and look where water was flowing, and it was. I don't know. We were not really sure where it goes. You can see, I mean, right there at the southeast corner of Bite Me Barbecue, it looks like it comes around a curve, which, I mean, it might. I mean, that's what the old maps show. But then we got over to Broadway where we think it should dump into that 48-inch.
Right,
And it seems like it goes across the old Nordis.
the old Nordis and down through that alley.
Yeah. But then we get down there and something doesn't seem to add up, so.
Can't know any more?
pardon?
I said, do you know any more?
I don't know anything.
I beg to differ.
No, that's what we think too, that it goes over there, because it splits right there. Part of it goes one way and part of it goes the other way, right there in front of Nordis's. So, that one that always flips up, that you see flip up all the time when it rains hard, that grate, that's going east. And then there's another little grate to the west of that, and it goes west. So, I believe that one that flips up is the one that's supposed to be going through that storm sewer that, is collapsed. At least that's what we've kind of determined anyway. And he was talking about, you're gonna run into rock, because I can tell you that for a fact, because we got almost 14 foot deep and it was mostly rock, so.
Was it hard rock or?
No, it was not hard rock, but But like I said, like we were talking about, I think it was a creek bank, or creek bed also, so it's probably just loose fill they could put in. But it was rock, it wasn't like it was good dirt that we were digging, so.
What are the council's wishes? How do we want to proceed?
Well, I feel like we probably need some more studies done. If
Yes.
That's the,
At least to come
that's
up
where we
with
need to start.
a firm, that amount we can actually, what does a study cost?
Well, my recommendation would be that council allow me to get with Rob and put together a scope of services and bring it back for your approval at the next meeting. It shouldn't take too long, should it?
No.
And that would constitute an amount of study that would be intended to allow you to make a decision on what you want the scope of the project to actually be, given a little more information that it would generate than what we have now.
I make a motion, we approve that, to have a scope of work, scope of study done.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we have a scope of study done for this project. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Going back to this project, on another note, everyone's seen the hole that they've got dug between the motel and that. I think it's really relevant that we keep digging there and see if we can get that piece that's collapsed, fixed,
Have contractors come in and do it?
whoever.
It's gonna take a box, right?
Yeah, I mean, Kent, I asked Kent to be here tonight, and did you smoke that today, Kent, or not?
No, we didn't.
Okay, so that's
We
something.
worked on 2 water leaks today.
Okay, so that's something we're thinking about doing to make sure we know what depth it actually is. We think we're pretty close, but at this point in time, what's your comfort level digging further, or do you think we need to?
I have no problem digging, it's just, I'm not real confident about putting people down there.
Right, so digging, as in locating it, but from that point, that's a decision point on whether we look for outside resources to help with it.
Jasmine said, what did he tell me that day? He said he had some, I forget what that shoring's called, but it's stuff you put together in the hole. He said he had some of that we could use. I'm not sure. We got a trench box, but it's only like a 6-7 foot tall one, so it's gonna be way over the head or way below.
Yeah, it's 14 feet.
But they said they had some that you can build, and it has hydraulic jacks. And it pushes the walls out against the wall. So, if there's something like that, we could do that.
So would we be renting it from them, or what would that arrangement be?
Oh, I don't know, I've helped them quite a bit. I'm pretty sure I'd be getting that, there'd be a little conversation going on there.
Well, if that's a possibility and you're confident in, that being safety, just like you said, you don't want to do anything that's going to put anybody at risk.
No, it's not a big, it don't look like it's a big collapsing looking thing, but it's loose. It's not solid rock that I've had to break out with a breaker or anything like that, so yeah, there's always a possibility. I don't know, but Jeff came up there the other day, well, both Jeffs were up there the other day, and, when you do this, we definitely don't have to go near as deep as what we are now, right? I would think. No, 5 foot deep, but we'd be good probably.
For the new system.
How deep do they normally go? 14,
It's,
16
have
feet
you been up there? It's deep.
It's deep.
And I have some concern with trying to go any deeper myself with the property owners next door. But that's just me.
Well, we got, the backhoe we got can go a little bit yet. We were only like between 13 and 14 feet. And we can go, I don't even know, remember, I had to extend that out, but it wasn't all the way out, so we had a little room there.
Well, I think it's one thing to get there. The next big question is how we go about fixing that. Do we have the proper equipment and know-how and what have you to do that, or is that something we?
I can get the pipe, and if I can, I'll talk to them tomorrow about that shoring. I've been wanting to bring that up here and get ourselves some too. Because the box we got is good, but it's way heavy, and you almost need a track hoe, some kind of small one at least. Something, backhoe gets kind of squirrely when you're lifting it, so.
Well, the other side of it, Ken, is how busy are you these days? If you had 2 water leaks today, is this something that we might be better off letting somebody else handle anyway?
Well, I mean,
I don't want to keep putting things on your plate and just telling you to eat more.
we like to stay busy, so winter's coming up, and that's usually when stuff slows down, but it hasn't yet, so.
It's still warm out.
I think there's a lot of considerations here, not the least of which we probably don't want to leave that hole there too long either. I think the council, what I would ask is just allow us to approach this on a day-to-day basis and allow us to avail ourselves to outside resources if we feel we need that. If this appears to be something big in terms of cost, I think we'd have to probably take a pause and come back and talk to you. Otherwise, I don't see that there's really any other way to go but to try to either get it fixed or get it covered up, one of the two, and then wait and tie that area in with the bigger project later, which, as you've all noted, would probably involve a new pipe at a considerably less depth anyway. So, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
If we go ahead and make this fix, we're going to come back and put a new pipe in there anyway, aren't we?
I would think, yeah.
Yeah. So there's another question, is how far we would go with expense and everything else here if it appears that the big picture strategy is to replace that at a more manageable depth anyway.
Yeah, so basically proceed with caution, smoke it, kind of take it day by day
We
at this
got our
point.
safety equipment out the other day, and I sent, one of my guys went down the manhole. And he took some short videos with his phone. The pipe inside there is not very good anyway. I mean, the clay tile is all cracked. I mean, lengthwise in 4 or 5 places all the way along, and those clay tile sections are only like 4 or 5 foot sections. So they're not in very good shape, so I don't even know if we could, even if a person wanted to line it or something, you couldn't probably do it very well.
Once you get down to it, if you start messing with it, do you run the risk of the collapse just expanding?
Maybe, but I mean, we're only, what, 30 feet there? I mean, one 20-foot stick of pipe, you could fix quite a bit of it, so. We just have to do a little more digging, so we just gotta haul it all off. We can't pile it back there because there's no room.
Right.
So I pile as much as I can, and then I push it down the highway and we haul it off, so.
Well, that sounds good at the council, I guess. Just let them proceed and kind of keep us updated.
I also wanted to volunteer, but the scope that they're gonna do, we have dye that we put down sewers to help to follow. I mean, this fluorescent stuff, so you can see it. Dump some water with it, and you can see where it's gonna go, as far as that goes too. I'll help you out with that.
Great. All right. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Ken.
Ken.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have the temporary relocation of Dottie Rose, the black squirrel.
Move to approve the request to move black squirrel.
Second.
Okay, where is it going?
715 Broadway.
Where is that exactly?
No, it's going 715
Sorry,
Center on the
Center.
highway, so it's on that narrow sidewalk that's on the backside. On the backside of the insurance office on Kevin Sandstrom's.
That's what I wondered, if it was going in there, okay.
Backside of Sand Street.
And I talked to Jen about that, and I said, you know, that's a narrower sidewalk. And so my only suggestion is if you turned it sideways, maybe,
So face east-west?
yeah,
instead of
whichever
north-south?
way you wanna face it. But I don't think it should be facing north and south, because it's narrower. That's what I told her. I said, it's narrower than down Main Street, so.
Also on that north side, it's gonna get a lot more salt along the highway, and it's gonna get good and
It's
frozen.
gonna deteriorate.
It's gonna be hard on it, but it's their
Unless they
squirrel.
keep it back against the building.
Well, right.
I mean, that's where all the trash dumpsters and stuff are. I
I was
mean,
gonna say, there's no concern for the dumpsters or the other businesses along there moving hand trucks or anything. It's not that narrow, it's just kinda narrow.
That's where I would be approving it, but they need to
yeah,
But to face it east-west,
turn it, well, east-west,
east or west, I'd say.
west.
either way, yeah.
East, okay.
Yeah.
Preferably up against the building would probably be best, I would
Yeah,
say.
plus it wouldn't risk a door or a car hitting it,
Exactly.
Or snow plow.
or a snowplow.
Yeah,
So I guess we can just kinda pass along those requests. Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, next, we have the Christmas in North Park, and Liz Warren is here to speak to us about that.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm here again every year requesting 17, 15 traffic cones, somewhere in there. I think I put 15 this year, maybe. 15 traffic cones. Our event is this upcoming Sunday, the 17th. It's 5:30 to 7. But we put these cones out to direct the traffic to go one way on Park Place. They come down, and then on Debbie Lane, exit back out on 12th. So if you haven't been up there, that's what we use the traffic cones for. I think last year we picked them up at the city building and we dropped them back off at the shop. So we can do that again, but whatever you guys want, so that's what I'm asking for.
Move to approve the request for Christmas in North Park.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Do you have a time frame? Early in the day or whatever? Will you
I
call
mean,
me?
we could either pick them up Friday if they want to set them out before they get off work, or we could pick them up Sunday,
Okay.
whichever.
Well, they'll probably send them out on Friday, just so I know
Okay.
what to tell them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Liz. All right, we have the application for the Economic Development Fund for 301,
305.
305 North 4th Street. God, read the wrong line on there.
Move to approve economic development application for 305 North 4th Street.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? And this is for removing the trailer house addition on that property. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. And now we have the Marysville ambulance contract. That has increased this year. Jeff, I believe you were working a little bit on that, if I'm correct?
This has been an annual, essentially a renewal of this agreement for a number of years, and as the mayor mentioned, the requested increase is $17,220, which is more than what it has been. It's about 10%, and it's been running 6% the last couple of years, 4% for 2-3 years before that. Before that, it was right around 2%. I did visit with Jimmy, and he indicated that at least a major source of the increased expense is the need to hire additional staff to provide advanced life support services, particularly in the case of hospital transfers. Having said that, the contract itself, in reviewing the form of the contract, had not been changed in a number of years. I did make a couple of changes. Really, the gist of those changes, one is to change the reference in the number of ambulance from insuring 4 ambulances, which doesn't really say anything about how many ambulances are in service, to certifying 3 ambulances, which gives us the comfort of knowing there are 3 ambulances that are certified to run. And that's after talking with Jimmy and understanding that they actually, there are 3 ambulances they actually use. So the ambulances that they have will all be certified. The only other thing I did was inject in just a couple of places recognition in the contract that the ambulance service is subject to the regulation of the State of Kansas Emergency Medical Services Board. I think that's kind of an important thing to tie in here to, and of course, they comply with that and always have, and I'm sure always intend to do that, but just to make the contract a little bit more specific as to the regulatory authority that really governs how that service functions.
Did he give any indication whether he expected future years to have significant price increases like this? Or, I mean, I know a lot of things are out of his control and everyone's, but.
I didn't get that impression. I would, you know, a person can speculate a little bit that maybe there's a need for more advanced life support service because of an aging population that's maybe more prone to need transfers to primary care facilities. That would be the rationale that I think is behind that. So that might suggest that that cost may continue to escalate. But again, that's not Jimmy speaking. That's just speculation as to the direction that is likely heading.
And how much did we budget for an increase? Do you remember that off the top of your head?
For some reason, we only budgeted 2%, which doesn't match up with what the increase has been the last couple of years. So apparently there was some optimism that it might head the other direction. So I point out in the memo that we're going to need to reappropriate from some other area in the general fund in order to accommodate the larger increase in what was budgeted. But in discussing that with Cindy, she didn't appear to be too terribly concerned about that.
Just something for us to consider in the next budget.
Definitely, and I'm hoping that there aren't other things that were under budgeted.
Move to approve the contract with Marysville Ambulance.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the contract with Marysville Ambulance. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Contract is approved. All right, next we have the Highway 36 manhole project. And I believe there was also maybe a secondary email on that. This is the project where we've got to do these, we've got to replace these manholes in order to finish our Cured in Place project. And also the idea was we'd like to get them done before we do the next Highway 36 resurfacing so that we're not cutting into the new highway and trying to patch in. Kind of, it's like a order of operations challenge.
And then this was budgeted in, right? And what did we budget? Does anybody remember?
300,000.
Guess they not this much.
Well, I know, but I just want to clarify for some people listening that it was budgeted, it just came in over budget.
And the first time we went out for bids, it came in substantially too
Higher.
high.
The first year it was budgeted at 200,000.
And because the bids come out,
Yeah.
we changed it,
For the new year.
yeah,
To 300.
and it's lower than what it was, but
Still
still higher than what anticipated.
But lower than the first time around. And this is one that we've kind of discussed. We could push it back if we so desired because we aren't going to do the overlay project until, is it 26? Yeah.
So what would be wrong with doing one manhole, 2 manholes a year?
I think mobilization, the accessorial costs would be included each time. I think that's probably the number one piece of logic to it, but there's an argument to be made either way here. It's not something we have to do, but by the same token, now that we've gone out for bids twice, I'm not sure how it's that's gonna improve any, or if we'll get all the bidders next time, if you kind of, I don't wanna say cry wolf, but that sort of thing, by going out repeatedly.
In the realm of things, it's a fairly small project, though. I mean, it's only 4 manholes.
Yes, and this would allow us to do the final cured in place.
Right, but I mean, for a big contractor to come in,
Right,
4 manholes, I mean, don't get me wrong, I can guarantee you they're gonna hit rock going through it.
it's always rock.
Huh?
Yeah, it's always rock.
It's always
Just
rock,
figure out.
especially down the highway.
Well, in that part of town, it's a lot of rock.
Yeah.
If we wait 2 years, is there a chance that the bid might even change?
Well, it's not going down.
It ain't going down.
I mean, how high do you think it would change if it's?
Boy, that's
Like
getting out to the
another-
speculation again.
Yeah, another speculation, 10-20%.
I think it comes down to, if you consider that the bid that you have before you now is a fair representative bid, which I think it is. So if you agree with that, I guess you could just throw a normal inflationary increase on that from year to year, notwithstanding something weird happening again like a COVID impact, but it's definitely, I believe, gonna go up. Another consideration, I think, on this project at this time is, and I apologize for this not getting out Friday. I thought I sent it out, but I didn't, and hopefully you had a chance to look at it. But it discusses the use of, or the merit to not using the ARPA money for the lagoon project. Which if we don't, the less we put in it of our own money, the more forgiveness we would get of the loan. In other words, we'd have to borrow more, but a percentage of what we borrow is forgiven. So the more we borrow, the more potentially gets forgiven, in other words, free money. So in that sense, it makes sense to put as little of our own money into the lagoon project as possible. Let me just mention something as an aside, and this is not a take to the bank thing, but the State Water Board announced last week through the governor's office, actually, the announcement through the governor's office came a couple weeks ago, but there is a new grant program that we can apply for up to $1 million for the lagoon project, even though that contract is let and the project is under construction. It's a real quick application period prior to the end of the year, but our grant agency has all the information on that project, so we can get in the hopper and get that thing in for consideration. There's not a lot of money available on a statewide basis. It's only $12 million, but it's worth going for. You know, if we get $500,000, what the heck, that's $500,000 more we have in the kitty for sewer projects. So that, if you're inclined to follow that logic with the lagoon project and look forward to the possibility of a grant of some sort, then I think it makes the ability to move forward with the manhole project greater, recognizing that you have at least 2 other projects before you, and also recognizing that there is some additional money available between the sewer replacement fund and drawing down the sewer revenue fund by a couple $100,000 to produce a pod, if you will, of $980,000 available for the Nordis project, the Cured in Place project, and whatever else might come up. That's, again, after using the ARPA money for the manhole project.
I think it makes a lot of sense to use the ARPA money that way, in that it does basically maximizes our dollars, maximizes the amount of projects we can do with the money available to us. This new grant project with North Central Regional Planning, what's the time frame for awards and all that on that project?
Yeah, I couldn't find the award. I think it's going to be fairly quick, and part of the reason for that is again, because they're really asking for what we used to call shovel-ready projects, although in this case, it's beyond shovel-ready in some cases. Shovel well in the ground and turned over quite a bit. So our what's the woman's name?
Amanda.
Amanda, who I'm sure many of you are familiar with, was very positive that she could get the stuff together very well. She has the stuff, just a matter of sending it in. And I followed up by reading what I could with the Department of Water website, and I wasn't able to glean when the award period would be, but I think the way this thing is stacking up, I would guess it'll be fairly quick. I would guess it would be sometime in January that they would announce the recipients.
Okay, great.
And Amanda's okay with doing that?
She's the one who found it and suggested it.
Okay,
There you go.
awesome. Because I know she's
South
not
Africa?
in the States any longer.
Yeah.
Yes.
So moving forward with the manhole project would help us to.
Well, this would potentially give us the cash to do it.
Another thing I might mention is the ARPA money is required to be specifically programmed by the end of 2024. And that means it has to be committed to a project that is at the point of out to bid or beyond. So the Nordis project, from what I understand, would be an eligible project as well. And early speculation might be that that would be designed and ready to go out to bid by the end of this year if things proceed as fast as it appears they might be. But so I don't want to exclude that as a possibility either. But we know for sure the manhole project is or could be a 2024 project because the bid is in hand and ready to let a contract if you so choose.
Against my better judgment, I move we go ahead with the manhole project for $413,830 with a contract for Smoky Hill LLC.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all in favor of moving forward with the project, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes.
So do we need to have a discussion on how we are going to fund the other project?
As I mentioned, there's $980,000 available for other projects as far as what's on hand right now after the ARPA money was committed to the manhole, correct, Cindy? There was a brief discussion at an earlier council meeting about the possibility of looking into, let's call it revenue enhancement in the area of sewer and storm sewer. And I believe that the council expressed an interest in looking at the stormwater maintenance fee. So what I would like to do is meet with the water and sewer utility in January, committee, probably in January. I'm ready to meet now, but I wouldn't expect that the three of you could scramble and get together on short order this time of year. If I'm wrong on that, let me know. But otherwise, I could be ready as soon as you are to meet with you and share with you a little bit about how the stormwater maintenance fee works in the state of Kansas and elsewhere. A second thing that I think has been bantered about a little bit, and through my research and talking to Cindy and others, I believe there's a need to do, if for no other reason than the passage of time, is to do a rate study on at least the sanitary sewer side. A lot of cities will do sanitary sewer and water concurrently. Quite frankly, I haven't had the need to look into the financing side of the water utility to know what kind of shape it is in, so I don't have an opinion on that. But they can be done independently. There exists a company, it's a kind of a funny name, it's called Getting Great Rates. It sounds like something a grade school class might come up with as a name for a company that they create for that purpose. But nonetheless, it is an experienced company that's actually endorsed by the Kansas Rural Water Association, which is an association that the city of Marysville belongs to. And with that membership comes a 25% discount on the rate. I've talked to the principal with that company, and they've done numerous studies in the state of Kansas, most recently, and not too far away. I know they did, I may pronounce this wrong, Tonganoxie, is that right?
Tonganoxie.
Just say Tongi.
Okay. And others around Bonner Springs, they did one there too, and they've done numerous studies in Kansas and other states as well. It's a pretty involved, lengthy process. It takes the better part of 6 months to finish a study because there's a lot of data that has to be accumulated. But the offshoot of it is it takes a look at your rate structure and determines if it's sufficient to meet both your operation and maintenance requirements of your utility, but also your debt service requirements and whatever amount of money you want it to generate for capital maintenance and capital outlay purposes. So it doesn't mean you have to take action with it. It doesn't mean you have to follow the recommendations or the conclusions of it to the letter. I've seen a lot of instances where councils choose something less than what their recommendation is. I think it's rare that they would choose more, but that's certainly an option too. But at least it gives you an analysis of your structure to make sure that it is doing what it needs to do financially. But beyond that, it also determines whether the cost allocations are correct, because you've got the capacity part of it, which is in the case of the sewer, the ability of the system to collect. And then it also has the flow part of it, which in the water side of it would be the commodity, the water sales. In this case, it's the water that flows that's charged for, to make sure that that's being priced appropriately between those two things and also between customer classes. So if that's something you're interested in, a study like that can be done for not a lot of money as well, and I'd be happy to bring information back on that too.
What's not a lot of money? Just curious.
$7,000 or $8,000 on the sewer side.
What's the time frame usually takes them to put such, an analysis together?
The study, I believe, would take upwards of 6 months. Depending, quite a bit of it depends on us in terms of how fast we can generate and deliver the information they need, and that's a question, I think, for Cindy and her staff as much as anything, to determine what their time is to meet the information requirements.
With all these projects and funds, last thing I want to see is using the term of robbing Peter to pay Paul. I don't want to use that at all. But I don't want to see that happen either.
Well, I think that's, quite frankly, I think that's a little bit of a danger you have right now of relying on the sewer, sanitary sewer fund to fund stormwater projects. Because there's nothing, I can guarantee you, there's nothing in your sanitary sewer rate structure now that is intended to generate money for stormwater projects. So you clearly are taking money from Peter to pay Paul there. And you're not the only city that does. In fact, I haven't seen too many cities do it out of the water. A lot of cities have done it out of the general fund, because that's where money was too. But then again, a lot of cities have tended to move more towards a dedicated revenue source in part because of the increased regulatory things that have come about, in the last 15 or 20 years of added expense to the operation of the stormwater system. Whereas in the past, it wasn't so much operational expenses as it was just building more and fixing stuff that collapsed.
So what are the council's wishes? Should we, Jeff, go ahead and bring back some options for doing this rate study?
I move to approve for him to get rate study rates.
Okay. Good. And Lori, second?
I'll second it, yep.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to get the rates together for a rate study review. That's a lot of R's. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Motion passes. All right. I don't think we have any notices and hearings tonight. So we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, so moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
I thought I had one question.
Anything you'd like to pull out? Yeah.
Did we get that thing added?
Where's that at? What page is that on?
17 through 30.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, sorry.
All right, good. All right, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, approved. We have the presentation of appropriations ordinance number 3811.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance number 3811, in the amount of $158,710.82.
Second.
Anybody have anything in there they have questions on? Okay, roll call.
Snelling,
Yes.
Ferris,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Spikeman,
Yes.
Throm,
Yes.
Schrader,
Yes.
Gracky,
Yes.
8-0.
Ordinance approved. And then we have staff reports. We don't have anything on the agenda for staff reports, but I thought it might be worth us getting a bit of an update on our city administrator search. I know we all had an email that went out about the status of that. I know, when do we expect to hear back next on from SGR?
I've tentatively scheduled a meeting with the consultant and the council for your next council meeting on the 27th, correct? That gave him a 2-week extension of time that he asked for to continue the recruitment. And then he would bring forward to you information about the status of the applications, including some information about each of those that applied, so that you and he could make a decision of how to move forward with that. If that's agreeable to you, I think it's something you probably want to do in executive session. My suggestion would be that you do it on video so that you have the interactive capability with the consultant rather than by telephone, if you can do that, if the technology is here to do that.
We just have to do, when we do executive session, we just move out and you guys stay in.
Okay. And I assume that, well, I mean, I know this is a bridge we'll cross at that meeting, but if we do need to extend further, is there a process by which we can modify anything in our ask as far as benefits or otherwise? Or is that something which generally, is this more of an SGR question for when he's here? Or do you know if that's something that's open for modification?
Well, I've been involved with a few of these, not so much on your side of the table, but I think that, I believe that this would be a meeting when you could review anything you wanted to and discuss any strategic shifts that you might be interested in making. I think the essential or the overall question is going to be do you move forward in the process with what you would have or what he will have in hand to share with you that night. And the next stage in the process would be a pretty intensive round of screening by the consultant that would include, among other things, a video interview with the candidate and the consultant. That would be part of what he would share with all of you at the time that the information was brought forward to you with a request to determine who of those that were brought forward you want to bring in for an actual interview. Okay. I mean, ideally, there would be a large enough pool that when you would next meet with a consultant, the consultant would have that in hand and share that with you probably a little bit ahead of that meeting and ask you then to narrow that down to whatever number it is that you wanted to bring in. As of right now, that pool is not deep enough for you to make that decision. The hope is that it would be deep enough at your next meeting. If it isn't, then I think you're at some decision points on
How to proceed?
how to proceed.
Yeah, okay. Anybody else have any other questions or thoughts on that process, or I guess we're kind of all in a holding pattern for the moment, but. All right. Standing committee reports, and the committee assignments are going to be changing here later in the meeting, but if anybody has any topics to be brought up under this now, it would be an all right time. Street Department. Kevin? No? Nothing? You always have something on the street. Come on. Water and wastewater.
Oh, Todd, I take it back.
I knew it.
I do
I sensed
too.
it.
I do too. I would like us to block the first 3 stalls off in front of Citizen State Bank. Parking stalls off till they get the boring.
It's narrow through there.
I went through there today, several, it's pretty.
Yeah, it's tight.
Yeah,
I
it's
went through
pretty
there too.
congested.
On Broadway?
On Broadway.
On
If we
the
could
north
block-
side.
On the north side, if we could block at least the first 3 off from the west going east.
I doubt bank would have much of a problem with it. How long will they be blocking that for boring? Do we have a general idea?
They're about a block in already.
I was gonna say, they're moving along. So, do we need an ordinance for that, or can we just do that?
You can vote to block
I
those.
don't think it's necessary, since I actually stopped over there today and made that request, and they're okay with it, so.
Okay.
We can
Usually
consider
the
that to be
council
done,
just
yeah.
closes. If you're in closed street, but you're just closing.
We're just gonna close 3
Blocking
parking
off a
stalls.
couple stalls.
Yeah. I think 3 would be sufficient driving by, so,
So you're talking 3 on Broadway?
yeah.
Do we need a motion for that, or can we just move forward by consensus?
Motion.
Okay.
Approve blocking off the first 3 stalls on Broadway in front of Citizens Bank.
Second.
Until the boring is
Boring's
complete.
done, yeah.
Okay. So
You
moved
want to
and
add that to the motion?
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Sounds good. All right, now moving forward, water and wastewater.
Are they right on the schedule with the lagoons, or are they a little bit behind, or where they at?
You know, I haven't seen a specific timeline for it. I know there's only so far they can go, before cold weather's gonna stop them. They can't do the recompaction of the clay and everything once it gets cold, so I don't think that, they're behind, really. They've had a lot of equipment out there for quite a while, not so much manpower, but I think they've had.
A lot of equipment, 2 guys.
One or two guys. I mean, the first guy started working three and a half weeks ago. It's just that,
You drive out there, you can see almost the shape that is starting to take shape. You can almost see where the pond's gonna be. I'm not saying that right, I don't think, but I mean, they're taking dirt off the banks of the first cell and off the third cell, and they're making that new cell. So, you can almost see this, I mean, the shape of it I've seen on the plans, you can almost see that shape.
Okay.
That they're getting it in there.
So it's forming up, it's just
It's
taking
forming,
some
but
time.
it's not as fast as,
Yeah.
I mean, the last time it went pretty quick, because Smoky Hill did that the first time, go around. And they had, well, that was when, everybody wanted to work, and they had a pretty good crew out there, so.
I guess I don't know what the contract deadline is for that.
I think March on this part, but I'm not sure. I might have to go back and look.
Well, so far, they had good weather.
Been fortunate so far, it's not gonna last forever.
It's supposed to be good too, so.
Yeah.
Be nice if it stayed this way all winter long.
Absolutely. But then it doesn't change, so.
And this one, I don't know that it'd fall under water and wastewater, but do we know a timeline from Verizon when they plan on building their tower down here next to the tension tank?
Nope.
I know we approved that, but I don't remember there was a specific timeline for them to begin
Well, I know
construction.
Within the last couple of weeks, they've completed the one in Frankfurt,
Okay.
so I don't know where
Well,
they're going
and
from there.
they haven't called in a one call or anything yet, so.
They put a Verizon tower in Frankfurt?
Uh-huh.
And Washington and Oketo.
They do a follow-up.
They're
Yeah.
coming.
I was gonna say, do you have the just
I'll
say-
look for it on the contract, but I don't
The
know that it was
context.
specific.
Yeah, I don't think it was either.
Either.
So if there's any, I mean, just to
Hopefully it'll be
ameliorate.
before the next season of the Lawman Bass Reef starts.
You've experienced our self-service issues, that's why we approved the tower. All right, Parks and Recreation.
The only question I have, when Dom was here and we talked about the cemetery issue, and I thought he said as long as they weren't mowing, like from November, December to April, you could have whatever you wanted on the graves. Do I not remember that right?
I'd have to go back and look how it was written. I don't remember anymore because we went
I
around.
think
the
so,
list.
as long as it was on the concrete, that,
Well, I thought he said you could have anything you wanted out there from December to April when they weren't mowing.
that's
I
probably
mean, he
true,
may
yeah.
have said that, but I don't think that's how the policy reads.
Well, I know, but that's why I'm asking.
I'll have to go back and look.
Need to get those aligned.
Have you gotten
Yeah.
question about it? No, yeah, I've gotten question about it
No one's called here.
because
Except for that,
people
what
have
happened
gotten
with-
letters since then. Supposedly, that's what I've heard. I've had some complaints that they've gotten
I never
letters.
sent any letters.
Oh, that's what I wondered, so that's what, I just want to make sure. So,
Send any letters
okay.
to nobody.
Well, we can probably get that squared away. I am going to, at some point in the near future, reactivate the cemetery board with some new members to discuss such things and maybe handle some of these kinds of issues as they come up in the future. So that'll hopefully help ameliorate some of the concerns as well. So, all right, cemetery and airport, police and fire, admin and finance. There have been sent to me since in the last few weeks a couple of grant opportunities. I don't know how much of that, Jeff, we want to just kind of direct to you, or if this is something where you think it would be appropriate for the admin and finance committee to kind of review some of those opportunities as well. I don't know what your previous experience is, but it sounds like you're doing a bang-up job coming up with some ideas for finance options. I want to make sure no stone remains unturned.
I did receive those.
Did you get
Yeah.
those as well? Okay.
So I think I'm probably in a position to determine if we have a fit right now. I mean, I think the thing the council needs to always remember with grants is a grant opportunity is only as good as a project that you have that's more or less ready for it. So there kind of needs to be a hole to plug that into, and if there's not a hole, then someone else maybe has one, you know?
Yeah.
It's not just everybody gets it. You need to have a project that fits what it's intended to create, so.
Okay.
That's, I think, how I would look at those, and I'll look at those emails again and maybe
Okay.
visit with you about it.
But if anybody in the community has anything that comes up they think they want us to look at, they can definitely send it along, I presume.
You bet.
We're happy to review. Great. Okay, appointments and wage determinations. I don't think we have anything there. City attorney is not here this evening. Does anyone have a need for executive session? Okay. Roundtable. So first, let me get that. We have a merit designation for Marysville K Club Week. I read the whole thing, I suppose? All right. It says, greetings, Marysville City Council and Mayor Todd Fry. The Marysville High School Kansas Association of Youth, K Club, is celebrating K Citizenship Week on December 10th through 16th, 2023. We are requesting that the Marysville City Council designate this week as officially Marysville K Club Week to celebrate with us. During K Citizenship Week, we will highlight the importance of pride and ownership in our family, school, community, nation, world, home, and club. The K Club's core goals are to empower Kansas students with lifetime leadership skills and an attitude of service to others. We feel that celebrating this week with an official designation gives it the clout it deserves. For K Citizenship Week, we'll serve our family by encouraging club members and Marysville staff to spend time with their families and enjoy a nice meal together. We'll serve our school by giving goodie bags to the teachers. We'll serve our community by volunteering to be a bell ringer for the Salvation Army. Our goal is to get 10 sign-ups by students. We'll serve our nation by collecting mittens and hats to donate to people in need. We'll serve our world by donating money for an animal to Heifer Project International. We'll serve our home by cleaning out and organizing a closet. We are hoping you will help us honor our club by declaring December 10th through 16th Marysville K Club Week. Thank you, Marysville High School K Club members.
There you go.
So I just declared, we don't need a motion. Done, declared. Sounds like a great opportunity for kids to get some good habits and care about their community and people around them, so it's fantastic. I also have standing committee assignments you got in your agenda. There's a couple changes, and a couple stayed the same, so hopefully we can have a little bit of balance of experience in these areas and some ones that people have expressed interest in being part of. So the new admin and finance standing committee will be Colleen, Lori, and Jeff. Cemetery and airport will be Keith, Colleen, and Lori. Park and recreation, Keith, Kyle, and Cherie. Grievance will be Jeff, Keith, and Kevin. Police and fire will be Colleen, Chris, and Cherie. The street committee will be Kyle, Lori, and Kevin. The water and sewer will be Chris, Jeff, and Kevin. So on these, a lot of these committees meet, I'd say, somewhat irregularly, but since these are all kind of new and we've got some new people on council, if appropriate, I think it'd be great if some of these committees could meet. By the end of the year is a big ask, but we'll say in January, maybe before a February meeting, just to kind of, I'm sure there's all sorts of things that can be, started to get work on and addressed. It might just be a good chance to meet with the department heads of those organizations too, if it works out for some of that leadership, but kind of get a good start on things and hit the ground running for the new year on these committee assignments.
I have to agree with you. I think they ought to be used more than what we have.
I'm a big fan of that. Committees can't make decisions, but they can do a lot of that important legwork and get some of the ideas hashed out and brought to the greater council and serve a kind of a vital role, I think, so. All right, for roundtable, Lori.
I won't be at next meeting, because it's on Wednesday, right?
Yes.
27th.
It is on the 27th.
Yep,
Because of the crazy holiday
yes,
weekend.
and I have my other managers on vacation, so there's no way that's gonna work for me.
Anything else?
Nope, that's all I got.
Can you make the Thursday, if we do Thursday?
That's what I was
She'll
gonna
be-
ask, do we have to
She'll
do
be back on Wednesday,
2 nights,
or
right?
she'll be gone
That'll be
Wednesday, back on
nights or
Thursday.
noon or whatever, that we have to do.
You want to do
So
the 27th as a regular meeting, then you want to do the 28th as your final meeting for
we're
the year?
hoping to have that on the final.
Okay.
And then you guys can come
I didn't know
up
if you were
with a
going to do the
time.
28th or 29th, that's what I was
Well,
asking.
the 29th, we have to print the check, so, if you would do it
Okay.
the
28th.
29th, it can't be at night, it'd have to be at noon. And I don't know if we can get enough together at noon.
So what time on the 28th?
What time can I get you here? 5 o'clock is good. But anytime, whatever you say.
5:30 is better
A
for
little
me.
after 5 gives
Yeah.
people a chance.
5:15, 5:15?
5:15, 5:30, yeah, either one of them work.
Say 5:15.
On Thursday. I need, a quorum.
Yeah. And
28th.
and you can will you reach out that week and
Yeah, I
make
have
sure?
to send it out.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna
27th
put
is
it
a
on my
regular meeting.
calendar.
Yep,
Okay.
I put 5:15.
Okay. And if I have to make it 5:30 so Kevin can get here or whatever.
Yeah.
then-
Yeah, you shouldn't have to worry about me that week,
Oh, 'cause no
because
school.
there's no school.
Okay, okay,
That's what normally catches me, so.
I'm off that week.
okay.
Well,
Are you gonna be here?
Bell's on.
Are you gonna be here?
No, I'm just not at work that week. I'm off. Someone's had a choice of being a week
The
off
next council
for
meeting will be that
Thanksgiving, someone's
Wednesday,
choosing
the
Christmas.
27th,
Because
at
Monday's
regular time.
Christmas. Regular time.
Christmas, and then the 28th will be,
Yeah, it's
it
just.
takes like 3 minutes.
Yeah, one more page.
Yep.
ordinance.
Yep.
Yeah.
We
We
have
have
to
to find
approve the
everything.
pay by the end of the year.
Last, right at the end.
Yep.
All right, Sheree, do you have any comments for roundtable?
I do have, I don't even know if it has anything to do with the city, but who takes care of the the signs like on the highways. Because when you come across the bridge, like you're coming from Manhattan, that welcome to City Marysville sign is crappy looking.
It's being replaced.
Yes, okay, good.
It's gonna be uniform with the other ones that.
Oh, the new, okay,
Yes, the new
okay.
ones.
Good,
And
because I'm like, that's a sore eye.
That was the part of the holdup all along because of that sign and where it's located. And they
Okay.
didn't wanna let us put it there again, so it's not gonna be there.
Okay. That's it.
State.
Work in progress.
Work in
Yes.
progress.
Is it, anything else?
I'm glad to be here. I hope that, I do well. You guys will teach me a lot. Help me. Please.
Hey, Colleen, do you have anything?
The lagoon thing that they sent the email on at 9:28
Yep.
this morning?
That got added to your consent agenda.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, that's on
Okay.
your consent agenda.
Good. I was just like,
Keith? Kevin?
No,
You wanna think about it a second, Kevin?
well, I can,
Okay. Okay, we'll keep going.
Don't let him think too long, he'll come
No,
up with
he'll
something.
just make something up. Chris?
Just gotta say, I'm happy to be here, and I hope I can, bring good things and help the city come to a better future. Just appreciate being here.
Thanks. Good. Kyle?
Nothing this evening.
All right, well, I want to welcome the new council members and the returning council members. And I hope the new council members, if you haven't kind of gotten the grand tour yet around and met some of the department heads and seen some of the facilities, we can still arrange that, right? I know we've always done that for new members.
It's nice.
It's pretty illuminating because you get to see things like the lagoons and places that you wouldn't necessarily get to see otherwise.
And I never knew where the lagoons were until then.
Nobody wants to know where it goes.
I know.
But no, welcome to all of you, and look forward to working with you.
move to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. In favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're
Colleen,
adjourned.
I want my chair back. I am going to, because I'm like, I feel like this one rocks.
Oh, we can tighten that. There's a thing on the
This
side
one
to
rocks a
tighten.
lot. I
That's a
had
good-
mine
that's a good
perfect.
chair.
Oh, you can have this one, I'd rather it rocked.
Okay, perfect, we're switching.
There was a thing that laid, it was a rod that came back, so we could tighten it, so we did. That's why I knew that you could tighten the one that Lori's talking about.
Where are we going?
Yes, I will.
Okay, great.
I wanted all the K's on this side.
Oh, thank you.
I had a lot. I literally did
I
cut
know,
out.
we're down there Saturday.
Nope.
Get your
Nope. I thought the new contracts were in the middle, surrounded by experience. I get shot off the city attorney. Yeah.
Well, let me see if my granddaughter's.
It's a weird man down, when it is so far away.
Okay, now I have to find that again.
Let's
Because that's the only way to shut off Facebook.
Literally
And
next
let me
month.
just see, I gotta have my book, because I don't have it tonight.
Monday, I can do
That's
it
all right, I gotta have
because
this book
my
to do it.
granddaughter has a junior high basketball game.
and everything else.
Tell me.
And
My
I
son's
can't
gonna keep
move
an
this
eye out
stupid
for
computer. Open the tab.
Did you get that
Only a 140-yard shot.
Monday at 5 o'clock?
Okay.
5 o'clock?
Cindy, did you hear that?
Trot it off.
Admin and
She
finance.
says no. All right, well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't get it, but I will write it down. Monday at 5.
Okay, you can move my chair.
Well, that's
over.
perfect. I literally have nothing going
That's
on
what I
Monday.
said, Monday.
Okay, so let's
Miracles
see
happen.
how I get in here. What is it?
We're at here.
Open a tab to YouTube.
Yeah, usually we do.
Yeah, we just do it here.
A bunch of bills came out in front of me, and they were walking that way.
Is it here?
Didn't know he was there. It's just. I mean, I bet he, from the pictures on the trail camera.
Yeah,
Shame on you, don't do
as
that.
far as meeting with, going on a tour or whatever, I think Jeff or Cindy can probably help arrange that.
Just let us know when you have availability and we'll set something up. Second season this year. Well, I mean, as far as city facilities.
I still could go out and vote.
Right. Right.
So you got basically 3 different.
And what?
Either up to you, I think.
Yeah, oh, hell yeah.
Hours each or something like that, probably, so.
Yeah, while they're working and stuff, sure.
Well, why don't you just send
Sheree, do you want
an
to
email and let me know
Sheree?
when you have a half day available here or there. I mean, if it's later this week, that's fine. Just let us know and we'll get it all. All right, perfect. All right.
Thanks.
Okay, so this is-
Congratulations.
Here it is, but how come I can't shut it off? The mini Pearl, yeah, okay, let's just.
Yeah, when it, that one time it showed the room, it just kept rolling
Oh,
and
and it
rolling. I had more
did, and I
people asking me
couldn't,
about that.
why is, I mean, I at least got that part up, but I don't know how to get.
I'm the last person in the world who wants to sit in there. Oh,
I know, I don't want a new stream. Oh, yeah, that I can get off.
She's awful. She's worse than Colleen. Can they hear me? What? No, I'm joking. She said the mics were on, so I.
Hello?
Hey, Cindy.